Hi class. I wanted to take a minute and go through your first essay. This will be our biggest assignment so far. It's worth 100 points, and it's pretty structured and organized in a certain way. And all the writing you're doing in the next week and a half, 2 weeks, goes into your essay. So I wanted to show you where to find the assignment description and kind of go through it and show you a student example. So here in your left menu, you have assignment description and scoring standards. If you click on paper and scoring standards, it'll take you to all three essays, rubrics and assignment sheets here, and a sample student essay, so you can see. So we're writing the rhetorical analysis. So when you click on that, it'll download this to your computer. Let me open that up. This is my student example, so give it just a second to open. Here we go. So this is the assignment sheet for the rhetorical analysis paper. So you're writing a claim-driven rhetorical analysis in which you evaluate the persuasive devices and effectiveness of an article. So way back in lesson 4, so we go back to our table of contents, you were given a list of topics and articles. So if we go here to lesson 4, you were given that list and you chose an article and an issue question from this list. That is the article you're analyzing for your first essay. So you wrote that down in lesson 6. You told me which one you were doing. You mapped it a little bit. You did the claims and reasons and the issue question. That's what you're analyzing for the first essay. So if we go back to the assignment sheet, remember, and this is the #1 mistake students make on this essay, remember that it is not about the argument. It is not about what the author is arguing. This essay is about how effective the argument is. So you're not going to agree or disagree with the author. You're not going to talk about the topic. That's going to come later. This essay is all about evaluation. And you're going to be using ethos, pathos, and logos to evaluate the effectiveness of the argument. So just keep that in mind. And it says here, don't worry too much whether you agree. It's not about the issue. The issue is not the focus. So make sure that you really understand that, because it'll make a big difference in your essay. Okay, so you can see here that the paper has been organized for you into how it should flow, right? You have your intro, your summary, which you're writing this week in Tuesday's lesson, and then 2 paragraphs on logos, ethos, and pathos. So this is a little bit confusing, but you're going to be writing these paragraphs in the next 2 weeks and getting peer reviews on them. So if I go to the discussion boards in the course, you'll see that the paragraphs, sorry, my internet's running a little slow today. Here we go. That the paragraphs are all going to get discussion boards and be on discussion boards. So here's your first logos paragraph. It's all about the author's use of evidence. Then next week, you'll focus on clarity and logic, how clear they are, how logical. That's another logo. So if we go back to that assignment sheet, those are the two logos paragraphs, clarity and evidence, right? So then looking again, you're going to write ethos. So ethos is all about the author's credibility and opposing views. And that's going to be here, you see, right? Credibility and how they respond to opposing view. So those are your ethos paragraphs. And then in week 6, you're going to talk about assumptions and emotions, which are your pathos paragraphs. See here? So assumptions and emotions. So if you do the next 2 weeks right, if you follow the outline of the course and really treat it as if you're writing your essay instead of just doing an assignment, when we get to the end of week 6, your essay will basically be done. And all you'll have to do is go back through and add transitions and make it clear and clean it up a little bit and polish it. But if you treat these assignments as busy work and not put a lot of effort into these paragraphs, it's going to make this lesson here between week 6 and 7, when you actually have your essay due, a lot harder. So put the work in the next 2 weeks, and it will make writing this essay a lot easier. Let me show you a student example of an essay. right here. So this is a student from last semester, and he is analyzing Balco's "What You Eat Is Your Business." He has, so if we look back at the organization, right, he's gonna have an introduction and then a claim that evaluates the effectiveness of Balco's article. So he does that here. He says what Balco argues. So Radley Balco, an investigative reporter for the Huffington Post, calls attention to the government's expansion into the food industry and their attempts at controlling what should and shouldn't be consumed. So that's Balco's main claim. While Balco's arguments have some obvious weaknesses, he overcomes them by effectively establishing his believability and connecting with his readers by utilizing shared assumptions and appealing to emotion. Can you see how this main claim is not about whether or not the government should control what we're eating? It's about how effective Balco's argument is. And that's what you're analyzing using ethos, pathos, and logos. And that's what this writer has effectively done. The next paragraph is the summary. It's important to do that summary right. And then you'll see he's then structured his argument with ethos, pathos, and logos. So this is his essay. That essay needs to be 6 pages. You'll see here. It should be around 6 pages double spaced. And I want you to know that I do take a couple points off if your 6 pages is 2 sentences on page 6. So make sure that you're really filling that 6th page. And it doesn't have to be full all the way, but it does need to be a good portion of the page. That's 6 pages. So keep that in mind. But like I said, if you do all of this correctly, then you'll have more than enough writing to fill those 6 pages, because you'll have 6 paragraphs of just analysis plus the intro, summary, and conclusion. So anyway, I hope that helps. Let me just show you a couple other strengths from this essay, this student's essay. Notice the language that they use here. So let's look at one paragraph. Let's look at this paragraph here. Balco could have strengthened his thesis by addressing opposing arguments instead of ignoring them. And remember, this is an evaluation of the argument. He is quick to acknowledge the government's intent to intervene, however, and then he quotes Balco here. And one thing he didn't do was put in a parenthetical citation, which is something that you need to do anytime you quote or paraphrase the article. But that was something he lost points on, was not doing those citations correctly. But the lesson will teach you how to do that as we get close to the final essay. But notice how evaluative his language is. Here he's talking about Balco misses an opportunity to include opposing views, and the impact to the argument, right? And how that impacts his argument. So use the student examples in the lessons to draft your paragraph. And again, I can't emphasize enough the importance of writing these paragraphs well, and getting good peer reviews and giving good peer reviews. It'll make writing this essay so easy. Hopefully that helps clarify what you're doing in the next 2.5 weeks. Let me know if you have questions. I'll try and be present in the boards as well, the discussion boards, and give you comments as well. So keep working. You're doing great. Let me know if you have questions.